I got a lead last week from TikTok, and I do my due diligence with every lead that comes through. Stalk the heck out of them. And after looking at her TikTok page for just 30 seconds, I almost hit decline on the Calendly link. I knew it would require a lot of work and a lot of patience. And most of the time, people just want this quick overnight result. But when you've been posting the wrong kind of content on TikTok for years, there's a lot of work that we have to do to fix that. So I actually had a call with her late last week, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I told her on the sales call so that you don't make the same mistakes she was. To start things off, she's a fitness coach. This revenue you see up here comes from Instagram. She hasn't been able to get leads from TikTok. And most six-figure business owners want to use their organic content to increase the amount of qualified leads they're getting. They want to grow their revenue. And a lot of them want social media taken off their plate. I talk about this all the time, but posting is not a CEO task. It needs to be delegated. Now, the issue is that she posts consistently on TikTok, but like I said, she isn't generating any qualified leads and has not signed a single client from TikTok. So after looking at her TikTok and making notes of exactly what gaps there are in her content and why it's not creating the leads for her, these were my recommendations. First off, there was not enough polarizing content. I get it. People want to play it safe. They don't want to be disliked or have people disagreeing with them in the comments. But because TikTok is a discovery platform, you need to post content that is top of funnel, which means your opinion, anything that's polarizing or controversial falls under that category. So if we were to work together, we would start infusing more polarizing content into her TikTok strategy. Next, she did not have enough founder perspective. A lot of it was just educational. There was no talk around her beliefs or how she makes decisions, her perspective on things, and why she does things the way that she does. Oftentimes, this is a hard type of content to infuse in your strategy if you don't know where to start, because it requires you to think about your experiences and why you make decisions the way you do or think about things the way that you do. And to be honest, it's just not the first thing that comes to mind when we think about posting on TikTok. Next is there was no framework for storytelling. Oftentimes, this is the biggest gap I see in people's TikTok content because you have to be able to capture someone in the first 3 seconds. And if you don't have a framework that supports that, then you've lost your viewer. I have a custom framework that I use for all of my clients, and I even customize more for their audience once I understand what they need to hear to keep watching. And this works great when you're trying to create converting content because instead of just showing a before and after photo of a client, you can literally take them through the process, and at the end, you'll know what to say to trigger them to inquire to work with you. And then lastly, no consistency. And this is the biggest thing. I noticed on her TikTok page that some months she would be consistent and then other months she would just drop off. And that can bite you in the ass if the content you posted prior to ghosting was not working to fill your pipeline with qualified leads. And this is something that we talked about on the call. She mentioned how it can just be discouraging to be consistent and post on a platform that isn't necessarily making her money. And I get that, but you have to be consistent. I think the only time it's okay to just kind of take a break from posting is if your strategy beforehand was converting. This happened to me recently. I'm actually at the lowest I've ever been in life. I'm going through a breakup and I'm moving across the country all alone to a new city where I don't know a single person. And I'm just currently feeling super low about myself. So I actually ended up taking a 90-day break from social media. Mind you, I busted my ass for 5 years, posting 3 times a day, every day. And that content did all the heavy lifting for me. So even when I was on my 90-day break, I was still getting leads from TikTok, even though I wasn't posting. So if you're someone who gets all of your leads from Instagram, you have no problem signing clients from that platform. But whenever you post on TikTok, even if you take your most converting Instagram piece of content and you put it on TikTok, nothing, no leads, no inquiries. It's because you cannot use your Instagram content on TikTok. The platform works differently and the mindset that people are in when they're scrolling on here is different. This is something that I could provide support in. If you're already making around 30 to 50K a month and you want to leverage multiple platforms to drive leads and sales, then you can fill out the application in my bio and book the call.